Welcome to EduRev.
Hi guys, welcome to EduRev. My name is Harshmeet Sir. I welcome you all to your last lecture in the ongoing chapter Making of the Indian Constitution. In the last few lectures, we have been discussing about the Constituent Assembly of India, the working of the Constituent Assembly, the elections of the Assembly, how the members came into them, क्या debates हुई थी Assembly में, and all the other relevant points about the Constituent Assembly. In this class today, I will be taking you through with the features that our Indian Constitution has adopted from other countries across the world. Last lecture में हमने discuss किया था, while making of Indian Constitution, we constituted or we consulted constitutions from about 60 countries in total. From these 60 constitutions, many of the features that we found useful were taken into our own constitution. I would want you to go through them one by one, especially the ones which are more important and relevant from our point of view. Features such as fundamental rights, preamble, and the judicial review were taken from the US Constitution. Now remember the fact US was the world's first written constitution that is continuing even today. Thus, whatever is in the US Constitution will automatically be copied or borrowed in many constitutions after that. So it's not like just we have taken many features from the US Constitution. Many countries across the world have taken features from the US Constitution. Many countries across the world have a preamble in their constitution like we have. Many countries across the world have features such as judicial review, fundamental rights. And because US was the first country to have these, सब लोग कहते हैं कि US से ही वो लिया गया. Remember the fact, just because we have taken this from US Constitution, इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि their fundamental rights have been copied here. We have adopted the idea of fundamental rights. हमारे fundamental rights are not the same as the ones given to the US citizens. वहाँ fundamental rights काफी अलग हैं, and we have different concept of fundamental rights. The same with judicial review. We have taken the idea of judicial review from US. Doesn't mean कि वहाँ जो judicial review चलता है, the same thing happens here. We took the parliamentary form of government, rule of law, single citizenship, etc. from British Constitution. Now, there are some things about the British Constitution which you must understand. First, Britain does not have any written constitution. It has an unwritten constitution based on rituals, based on customs that have been going on. क्योंकि written constitution नहीं है, that does not mean कि Britain में कोई written law ही नहीं. The normal day-to-day laws of the British Parliament are written, just like our laws are. Just that the book of constitution that we have in India, ऐसा कोई written book UK में नहीं है. Also because British had been ruling over us for a very long time, so we were familiar with how the British government works. That is why the basic structure of our government, the parliamentary form of government, the ministers, rule of law, single citizenship, that is why most of these things we have taken from the British Constitution. Because it was in existence even when the British were here, so we did not need to change a lot. The concept of directive principles has been taken from Ireland. Interestingly, Ireland had also taken it up from Spain. So it started from Spain, Ireland took it, and then we took it. We will read about all these in detail in the coming chapters. For now, directive principles are suggestions given to the state what kind of laws they should make to ensure social and economic justice and to have a welfare society. From Germany, we took emergency provisions. Germany's constitution is also known as the Weimar Republic. So Weimar Republic or the German constitution is the one from where we took emergency provisions. Emergency provisions are mainly those provisions under which central government becomes very powerful and controls the entire country. From Canada, we took the concept of the office of the governor, residuary powers and a stronger center. Residuary powers means if any subject is not mentioned in the state list, union list or concurrent list, that subject goes to the kitty of the parliament. So that is a residuary power. From Australia, we took the joint sitting of the parliament. That is, in the parliament, if one house has passed the bill, other house has rejected the bill, or one house has passed the bill or the other house has not taken any action for 6 months, then as you know, the President of India can call for a joint sitting of the two houses to sit together, discuss and pass the bill. Such joint sittings are presided over by the Lok Sabha Speaker. We will again read about this in much detail when we are discussing about the Parliament. The concept of joint sitting has been taken from Australia. From South Africa also we took something. We took the election of the Rajya Sabha members. As you know, in Rajya Sabha, members are elected from the respective state legislative assemblies. So the MLAs of the state vote and decide who shall be the Rajya Sabha member from our state. The Government of India Act 1935, an integral part of how India was governed before independence. From this, we took the ordinance making powers given to governor and the president, federal scheme and the center-state relations. Remember, the Government of India Act 1935 was the largest act of the British Parliament at that time. And yes, from 1935 till 1950, when our constitution came into being, in this period, India was governed by this act only. So the Government of India Act 1935 was essentially the Constitution of India for the last 15 years. Remember that part. The concept of fundamental duties was not in the original Constitution. It was inserted later on by 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1976 on recommendations of Swaran Singh Committee. This concept has been taken from USSR. Some duties have been given to the citizens of India. Those duties are not binding. Those duties are not justiciable. Means if you don't follow those duties or if you do something against that duty, you are not bound to have any judicial action against you. This is a question based on what we have just read. Emergency provisions in the Indian Constitution have been borrowed from which of the following constitutions? The answer quite clearly here is Germany. Germany, or the Weimar Republic's constitution, is the one from which we have taken emergency provisions. So I hope you do remember that. Thank you so much for watching the video. This brings us to the end of the chapter, Making of the Indian Constitution.